Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I have made and showed you how to make buttermilk mashed potatoes, but I'm making these different today. I have Jerusalem artichoke powder, and I want to see, because Jerusalem artichokes help the body with insulin for people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic. So I'm going to see if I can put in a tablespoon of this when I go to add the buttermilk, if I beat the buttermilk and it together and then add it in and see how it goes with these mashed potatoes. So this recipe, though you've had it, I'm changing it a bit because I want to try something. So we'll see how this comes out. Now they say if you leave the skins on, cut it in chunks. If you don't mind the skin, I leave the skin on because it's good for your hair. If you want good looking hair, the skins of the potatoes are what do it. Dicing mine small, I always do. Very difficult for me sometimes to think big chunks unless I'm going to serve it with potatoes or something. So if you peel them, you can leave them in chunks. See, when I make a dish, sometimes I never know where I'm going with it. I get ideas. After I've made it, I was like, why can't I try this or try that? We just never know. Well, it rained. It's raining. It's going to be cloudy and raining all morning. That means a lot of the snow's melting. Thank God. I have to get to Lowe's. There's a few things I have to pick up at Lowe's. But with the snow and I want to walk, it doesn't make sense to sit there and take a bus or a taxi to Lowe's. It's only like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks for me. Very easy to get to. I could walk it. That's knowing me. That comes from being in the country. We walk everywhere. Oh, you want 1½ to 1 3/4 pounds potatoes. I am sorry. I forgot to tell you that. I was thinking of something. Here I am chatting with you and I forgot to tell you how many potatoes. Now, when you go to put the water on, you only have to put it enough water to cover the potatoes 1 inch above the potato line. And that is more than enough water. You don't have to do, well, like my grandmother, my mother, put a ton of water for potatoes down here. We had an accident. My son had an accident. Oh, I'm so happy. He always used to laugh because my fingers always had Band-Aids on them. He used one of my knives and he nicked his finger. He had, Mommy, this hurts. I said, of course it does. He cut his finger. He said, boy, that really hurts. Your knife's so sharp. And I said, well, you have to be careful in the kitchen. That's why I have Band-Aids. Might not have anything else in the house if somebody gets sick, but I do have Band-Aids. Save the fingers if nothing else. Now what am I going to do with this potato water? You know I'm going to cook with it. I'm going to save it. I'm not going to let it get away from me. Because you know when you boil, you're boiling nutrients out. So therefore, if you collect the water, if you don't add salt, you can use that water as, be it your vegetables and stuff, put it in a jar, stick it in the refrigerator and use it as stock and you'll be recycling. Don't add salt to it when you're doing it because then the stock will be too salty for you. I'm still trying to think of what am I going to have next week. For the life of me, you think with all that food in there, I'm thinking of buying some. My sons will kill me, say, Mommy, the freezer is packed. Why are you buying more meat? Of course. But I found a sausage casserole that I'm thinking about making. And I don't have a smoker to make the sausage, and I don't have the intestines to do that yet, or a place to do it. So I have to wait. So I'll probably have to buy it from the store. But I do have to go by the butcher because he did not call me Monday about the kidney fat from the pork that I had asked for. So I don't know if I can make it. So I'm going to have to see him Friday afternoon and see if he does. I'm hoping Saturday I can make lard. Some more. I've gone through 1.5 jars with different things. So I want to be able, because I didn't quite have 3 jars. So I should say less than half, maybe a little over. It's not as much as I said it was, but anyway, I took a new jar and I had finished up the one where I had the extra. So I'm hoping that when I go to see him on Friday afternoon, they have it for me. Fingers crossed. Okay, you know that's what I'm doing. Now you know I use butter and oil to fry the chicken up. So I'm going to strain it so I can use it another day. Just because I have butter in it does not mean I'm not going to save it and use it. A lot of people, they say if you use butter in it, you're going to throw it out. Me, I'll cover this, stick it in the refrigerator, and I will use it. Though they'll save bacon fat in the back of the stove, but if they use butter, they'll throw it out. But because I did the cutlets, with this, I'm going to go ahead and save this like I would if I was saving something in the refrigerator, and I will use it. And I think whatever I cook, if it says to use this, or you need oil, I can use that with the butter and have that lovely flavor, which will add to the dish that we're having, and then I'm not wasting it. So I'm going to let the potatoes cook now, and we'll get the other stuff and move along when they're done. Okay, the potatoes are cooking, but I have 1 cup of buttermilk here, which we need. Here's my Jerusalem artichokes. I'm going to try to blend them up in this, and we'll see how this comes out. And then we can add it to the potatoes. add the buttermilk. And see how it comes out. Now some of these things you see are actually experiments that I'm doing. But most people don't realize what goes on to the kitchen, in the kitchen. When you have chefs that are working with seasonings and combinations of foods, what's the best way to prepare it and all this other stuff. But there's a lot that goes into this. If I remember correctly, and I'm not sure about this, but Julia Child, when she went to France, I think she was the first woman, I might be wrong on this, but I think she was, that actually became a chef and brought basic cooking skills to women. This is a little bit, when I was little, and I remember her showing women what a whisk was used for, the proper utensils for things. So there was a lot going on. And I remember seeing her. And she told you where the measuring spoons came from. She explained how we use them, how to measure properly, how to lay everything out. Well, I usually have it over there, over here, because I didn't have the counter space that she has. If I have that kind of counter space, man, I'd have it all laid out. I have to do mine a little different. But the thing is that I remember her, and I think she was the first. But anyway, this seems to blend up quite well, the Jerusalem artichoke powder into your buttermilk. So if you're making regular mashed potatoes, put the milk into a measuring cup for the amount that you're going to use. Stir it and see what happens if you can get the Jerusalem artichoke mixed into the milk. And that way you'll help somebody who's having trouble with their insulin. This can help them. And besides, it's a nice vegetable to have as well. Potatoes aren't done yet, we have to wait. Okay, I'm going to strain these potatoes because I want the water. Let this cool, and I have a stock. Now what you're going to do is put these potatoes back on the burner, and you're going to dry them out. These are wet potatoes, all right? So there's moisture in them. So what you're going to do is turn the flame back on, stir them around until you get a film on the bottom. Then you'll know your potatoes are dry. And that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I will be back. Do stir your potatoes, or they'll burn on the bottom. Okay. You need 2 tablespoons of butter. We'll put them in after. All right, add some salt. I would not recommend using kelp. Do not, because it leaves a funny taste with your mashed potatoes. Use regular iodized salt. Put it in and put a piece of butter in it. Now that we've mashed them, what you're going to do is you're going to stir that butter around in them. Not mashing them now. Now we're stirring it. As it melts, take another piece of butter, add it in, stir it around. You're stirring that butter so you get it all over. And by not mashing them and stirring them, they'll keep their fluffiness a little more. If you have a ricer, you can do that, but because I left the skins on, I have to stir it. So you add salt to taste. We're adding 2 tablespoons of butter, stirring it in after we mash them. And then we've got the buttermilk that we'll be adding in. And then we'll add the pepper after. Make sure the butter's completely melted before you add the buttermilk. Now, I'm not going to warm my buttermilk up, and the simple fact is that I'm going to be having to wait and pack these lunches. But if you're serving it right away, they recommend that you heat the buttermilk up. Warm it up, don't boil it. Okay, my butter's melted, so I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup of this, or maybe 1/3. Stir it in. And continue going. If nothing else, you can see every recipe. You can make it more nutritious. See me do it all the time. I'm always adding something to make it better. If I can't do the dish like yesterday, I'll get it in the rice. One way or another, it will get to the table. Now I noticed leaving a tablespoon of Jerusalem artichoke into the buttermilk started getting a little thicker because it is a potato. I'm just surprised so many people don't know about Jerusalem artichokes. If it is that good and it's healthy for us, then why aren't diabetics told to eat it in place of potatoes and everything else? It doesn't make any sense. Add your pepper. And that's it, except we're going to put it in a bowl to serve. I like a lot of pepper in mine. I should call these pepper mashed potatoes because I do like the pepper in mine. Okay. It's not a problem. That's it. That's how you make buttermilk mashed potatoes with a twist with Jerusalem artichokes. Take care and have a great day.